Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Bot Camp, and today we're talking about settings in custom binds, specifically for controller players. Now I know a lot of you might not be on controller, but I encourage you to watch the video as many of the settings are still relevant to you even if the custom binds aren't. The reason I'm making this video is that I've seen threads on Reddit or talked to a number of players that can't understand why they aren't getting any better, but they still have some of the most basic settings or binds incorrect, and it's holding them back. And maybe it's holding you back as well, so we'll get into that. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. I try to make all of my videos helpful for the everyday player, so let me know in the comments section your thoughts on any of the settings and binds that I talk about in this video. Right off the bat, let's just run through all of the basic settings. For sensitivity, there's a billion topics and videos out there on the correct sensitivity and finding a sense that's right for you, so I won't dwell on this too much. In general, controller players should probably be somewhere between 0.6 and 0.8 on both X and Y, and use a targeting and scope sense between 0.3 and 0.5. Your building and editing sense should be somewhere between 1.5 and 2.0. These are general guidelines, however, and this video is more about the other settings and binds, so if you choose to go look at other videos, I would encourage you to do that. The first setting, and one of the most important for controller players, is sprint by default. This should be set to on. One of the main reasons is that you won't have to mash in your left stick to sprint over and over again, preserving the lifespan of your controller for one, but also so that your movement and aiming isn't affected by you trying to sprint. There's rarely a time in Fortnite when you don't want to be sprinting, and it helps with quick movement in shotgun fights and build battles. All of this said, perhaps the biggest reason to have sprint on is so that we can use the left stick for a custom bind. If there's nothing else you take from this video, pay attention to this tip, and we'll talk about this when we get to custom binds. For edit aim assist, you're going to want to have this off. There's a lot of discussions on Reddit where controller players talk about editing efficiency and how having this on has helped them edit quicker. There may be some personal preference here, but I suggest having this off because it forces you to learn the edit motions naturally, and also because in tense box fights, having edit aim assist on can pull your crosshair away from where you want it on quick shotgun shots or edits. Ultimately, this comes down to personal preference, but I suggest turning this off if you're really looking to improve. The next setting is turbo building, and it should definitely be set to on. This setting allows you to simply hold down a single button to keep building the same building piece, instead of having to press it each time you want to place a piece. Along with this is Builder Pro Build Immediately, which should be set to on. I don't know anyone in Season 10 that doesn't already have this option on, but if you don't, just do it and thank me later. The last must-have setting for controller is auto run, which should be on. The main reason is to preserve your left stick, because the more you hold this forward, the quicker it breaks down and becomes off-centered. This won't necessarily make you better, it's just a nice feature to have while rotating in-game. Alright, now let's get into custom binds, and first and foremost, pretty much every controller player should be playing on Builder Pro. Epic really should just make Builder Pro the default control scheme for controller players, and it would completely blow my mind if there's anyone who is not using Builder Pro at this point in Fortnite. But if you're one of those people, make the switch. It takes some getting used to, but it makes building infinitely easier, and frankly, if you aren't willing to switch, you're simply not going to get any better. And now the most important part of the video, and that's changing your jump bind away from A on Xbox or X on PS4. This is a pretty basic first-person shooter tenet that being able to jump and aim at the same time will undoubtedly make you a better player. If you have to take your thumb off the right stick to jump, you have that split second where you can't track or aim. There's a reason why back in the day, competitive Halo players almost exclusively played bumper jumper, and when I used to play Overwatch, I went from being a gold platinum player to a diamond masters player simply by remapping the jump button. In Fortnite, you're going to miss a lot of shotgun shots and not be able to do most of the advanced builds if you're still reaching for the jump button. You should be mapping your jump button either to left stick or left bumper, or L1 on PS4. I would suggest the left stick as it won't interfere with weapon swapping or placing cones. However, some people have issues with pushing in the left stick accidentally during intense fights. If you're one of these, then use the left bumper to jump and change your cone and weapon swap binds to the D-pad. Whatever bind you end up choosing, pick one and stick to it. You may be bad for a week or two, but the long-term gain is well worth it. One of my regular squad mates increased his KD by almost 0.7 just by switching his jump button. Obviously, if you have the ability to do it, get an Xbox Elite controller or a Scuf controller, and this isn't an issue because you can bind jump to one of the paddles. I personally have an Elite, but I know that most people who want to get better may not have an extra $150 laying around. If you aren't willing to change your jump bind on a standard controller, you absolutely, undeniably will have a skill ceiling while using a controller. The second most important bind is having an instant edit button. Editing is another huge skill barrier in Fortnite, and every controller player by now should have an instant edit. I suggest changing this to your old jump button, or to the left stick if you didn't change your jump button. On an Elite or Scuf, you should set edit to right on the D-pad and set one of the paddles to this bind. In addition, you should set your edit, reset, and confirm buttons to new binds. The recommended binds by most controller players are right bumper or R1 for reset and left trigger or L2 for confirm. This lets you edit much faster than if your edit and confirm buttons were the same button. After you make these changes, for a couple of weeks run through Candook's edit course for about 5 to 10 minutes each day, and you'll be right on track and comfortable with editing in no time. I also suggest Selage's shotgun aim facility as it lets you run through easy edits while getting used to shotgun shots as well. I hope that this video showed you the bare minimum settings that you should be using in Fortnite as a controller player. I know there's tons of videos out there on settings and binds, and if there's nothing else you take from this video, it's that you need to have custom binds on your jump button first and instant edit button second. Let me know in the comments section below what settings you're using, and thanks for stopping by.